Well, let's start tonight with Democratic Congressman Alan Grayson of Florida. Sir, I have to hand it to you. I think you are a Martin Luther. I remember being over there when the Berlin Wall was coming down. I was there with John McLaughlin, my colleague, and he said, how did Luther know he could stand up against the church? And this is an old Jesuit talking. How did you know you could stand up to the Republicans, the real clowns out there? Well, we could start with Limbaugh and the rest of them and you know, the whole crowd. What's his name, Beck, the whole number of them. How come you knew the way to beat these guys was to put them on defense?
Because they're bullies, and a bully always backs down. Don't we all know that? That's what happened here.
Well, tell me about it. What has happened to you? Did Pelosi come along and tell you to cool it? Did Steny Hoyer tell you to cool it? Did you get any mean looks from the Republicans on the floor like Boehner? By the way, Boehner does look like, doesn't he, like a golfer who's just blown a putt all the time? Doesn't he always look like that to you?
Well, you would know better than me, I guess.
No, he looks like a guy who smokes when he's playing golf all the time. And he's like, he has the cigarette, he throws it down, he's ticked off, he takes the putt and he blows it. He always looks like that. What do you think of this? What have you learned in these couple of days of being the hot shot?
Well, what I've learned is that people really want a congressman who has guts, who says it like it is. And for God's sakes, for months we've been on the defensive. Why? We have a plan, the other side doesn't. They've got nothing. It's been 72 hours since I said this. Where have we heard about the Republican plan? Who has stepped forward to explain, no, Grayson was wrong, it's not true? All they do is their personal attacks, and it means nothing because the American people deserve better than that, and they know it.
Well, how come we've spent now 50-some years going back to Harry Truman with nightclub comics, all the way back to Alan King, talking about doctors and people talking about HMOs and the problems of getting any kind of payment when you have a problem and all these problems with health insurance? The status quo has never looked so sweet as when the Republicans started to attack the Democrats. Why didn't the Democrats spend the last year attacking the way things are as a way of getting them fixed? Isn't that how you get a tire fixed? You say it's blown out?
They bought into this storyline.
You don't say how great the tire is going to be when it gets fixed. You say the tire's a blowout, you got to fix it. Why don't the Democrats go after the problem and say they're going to fix it and saying, gee whiz, I got this new idea. The new idea thing hasn't worked. It's the problem you got to focus on.
Well, you're absolutely right. They bought into this storyline, the Democrats, that there was a need for bipartisanship. The Republicans never intended anything resembling bipartisanship, not on this issue, not on any other issue. And now we understand, since I spoke out, that the cost of delay is death. We have 44,789 Americans who die every year because they don't have health insurance. This is a Harvard study. You don't have to take my word for it. It's in a peer-reviewed journal. 122 Americans die every single day. So now the storyline shouldn't be any longer which Republicans are going to join the bill. The storyline should be, how can we save these American lives? And how quickly can we do that?
Okay, you're a rarity, so let's talk about it. I don't think you're worried about losing your seat, so let's talk about a congressman, you.
I'll be honest, I don't think that's going to happen, Chris. You would not believe the response we've gotten so far. Well, we've had over 5,000 people come to GraysonForCongress.com and make a contribution. Our emails are running 4-1 in our favor.
What's your district like? Do you have a pro-Democrat? I've looked the numbers up. It looks pretty close to me. What kind of district you got in Orlando?
Listen, I'm the first Democrat to represent downtown Orlando in 34 years. And that's okay, because if I have to choose between my job and saving lives, I know how to make that choice. Now, the Republicans have said, the National Republican Congressional Committee Executive Director said, Grayson is our #1 target for 2010. And maybe I'll be drawing other people's fire. I don't know. But I do know that I'm going to make the right choice, and I do know that Democrats, Republicans, Independents, they want somebody with guts.
Are the Republicans on the floor circling for you? I remember back in '93 when Marjorie Margolis, who had the guts to vote for the Clinton budget, the tax increase back. It wasn't a tax increase for regular people, by the way. It was for the rich. They were all dancing and singing on the floor of the House that you're about to go goodbye, Marjorie. Are they circling around you because you've shown some cojones on this thing? They think they've got you.
Well, we'll see. You know, we'll see how it goes. But certainly, if they don't feel that way already, they sure will, because I'm going to continue to speak out.
I'm looking for some insight here. I'm a reporter. I'm trying to find out what you know and I don't know. When you walk around the floor, when you walk past the Republican cloakroom, when you get on the elevator, when you get on the subway over there on the Capitol building, do these Republicans come up to you and say, your number's up, buddy? What do they say to you?
Yeah, I hear that all the time. I get dirty looks from the Republicans all the time. But I can't decide on my vote. I can't decide on health care, on energy independence, on jobs, on the economy, based upon dirty looks from people who throw hissy fits all the time and expect that we're supposed to decide American policy on that basis, and that's what they've been doing time after time. This feigned indignation, time after time. We can't let America be run that way.
But you can't call these guys Neanderthals. You know why they don't believe in Neanderthals? They believe it's all about 3,000 or 4,000 years. All we've got is about 3,000 or 4,000. They don't buy this thing of Lucy and way back 4 or 5 million years. They don't buy all that, by the way. So this calling them Neanderthal doesn't hurt these guys. You know that, Dave.
Well, actually, I said knuckle-dragging Neanderthals, and one of them came up to me on the floor. I won't tell you who. He came up to me and he said to me, "I don't like you talking about me that way." And I said, "I wasn't talking about you." And he said, "I think you were talking about me." He was trying to prove to me that he was a knuckle-dragging Neanderthal. I said, No, I'm serious. I wasn't talking about you. Look at your knuckles. There's no calluses.
Okay, well, let's talk about real people and real problems. My thinking is that you want to make health insurance accessible, affordable. Everybody's got to chip in to the ability they can. Nobody's getting a free ride here. Talk about why it matters to you. I want some heart here.
Oh, listen, why it matters to me. I was so sick when I was growing up as a child. I had to go to the hospital 4 times a week for treatment. And when I was growing up, my parents had union benefits. Both of them belonged to a union. They both got union benefits, and twice, when I was 7 and when I was 17, they went out on strike. And I wondered whether I would survive, whether our health benefits would remain in place, and whether I'd be able to continue my treatment. And it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing when you're a child to think about whether you're going to live or whether you're going to die. And I don't want to see anyone in America go through that. I was so happy to vote in favor of health insurance for children in my first week in Congress. 4 million children all across the country didn't have to worry about that anymore. And why should the sins of the parents descend on the children? Why should children ever have to worry about that? 10,000 right here in Orlando alone, saved from ever having to worry about whether they would live or die.
Well, you sound like a liberal.
Progressive. Populist.
Hey, look, don't hide from that word liberal. It sounds better. Progressive sounds a little, well, I can't say it. Pusillanimous. Liberal's a good word. You got to make it sound good. You just got to make it sound, yeah, I'm a liberal. I believe in opportunity for everybody. I believe in freedom for everybody. I believe in liberty for everybody. I'm an American. Of course I'm a liberal. People should say that. Be more fun.
You have to have a head and a heart.
This progressive sounds like you're hiding from being who you are. The conservatives don't come up with euphemisms. They call themselves right-wingers. They love it. Anyway, thank you. You're on the right track. And by the way, thanks for finally getting around to doing our show. You've done every other show in the world, by the way.
I thought you were going to beat me up so badly.
Yeah, right. You're really scared of me, I'm sure. If you're not scared of the Republicans, you're not scared of me. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
I'm glad to call you buddy. I don't know you, but Adam Grayson, I like your style.